Did the Anunnaki create us? Long before the rise of Egypt, before the ancient cities of the Indus Valley or the temples of Mesoamerica, there was Sumer, the first known civilization in human history. Located in what is now modern-day Iraq, Sumer emerged over 6,000 years ago. But the Sumerians claimed that they didn't invent civilization on their own. Instead, they said they were taught by beings from the sky. The Anunnaki. The word Anunnaki comes from Sumerian texts. It means those who came from the heavens. According to these texts, the Anunnaki were powerful, intelligent beings who descended from the skies and helped shape the course of early human history. They were described as tall, majestic, and capable of incredible feats. They brought knowledge, laws, astronomy, mathematics, and agriculture. To the Sumerians, they were gods. But were they something else? In the 1970s, researcher Zecharia Sitchin introduced a controversial theory. He proposed that the Anunnaki were not gods, but extraterrestrials from a distant planet called Nibiru. This planet, he claimed, follows a long elliptical orbit and only passes near Earth every 3,600 years. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki came to Earth in search of a precious resource, gold. But why gold? Not for wealth or decoration. Sitchin suggested that the Anunnaki needed gold to stabilize their planet's atmosphere. And Earth, rich in gold deposits, was the perfect source. However, mining gold was a labor-intensive task. The Anunnaki, unwilling to do the work themselves, looked for a solution. They allegedly turned to early hominids, primitive human ancestors already living on Earth. By combining Anunnaki DNA with that of these early beings, they are said to have created a new species, Homo sapiens. Intelligent, adaptable, and capable of following orders. Humans were, according to this theory, designed as a slave species. This idea challenges everything we know from science. According to mainstream biology, humans evolved naturally over millions of years. From ape-like ancestors to modern Homo sapiens, the evolutionary path is well documented through fossils and genetics. But there is one mystery that continues to puzzle researchers. Roughly 200,000 years ago, something strange happened. Human brain size rapidly increased. Complex language appeared. We began creating tools, art, and eventually building civilizations. This sudden leap in cognitive ability is sometimes called the Great Leap Forward. No one knows exactly why it happened when it did. Could it have been triggered by an external influence? Supporters of the Anunnaki theory believe so. They point to Sumerian clay tablets that describe the creation of humans in remarkable detail. One story tells of the god Enki and the goddess Ninhursag forming humans out of clay and divine essence. To some, this is a metaphor for genetic engineering. The texts also list kings who ruled for tens of thousands of years, suggesting a timeline that defies logic unless these rulers were not human. There are other anomalies. Some ancient artifacts appear to show knowledge that shouldn't have existed. A famous Sumerian cylinder seal depicts what looks like the solar system, including planets that were not officially discovered until modern times. How did an ancient civilization know this? The seal shows the sun at the center, surrounded by planets, including one that may represent Nibiru. Critics argue that these interpretations are incorrect. They say the seal is symbolic, not scientific. Mainstream archaeologists view the Anunnaki as mythological figures, not aliens. They point out that mythologies around the world feature gods from the sky because ancient people looked upward for divine inspiration. But coincidence or not, these stories share striking similarities across continents. In Africa, the Dogon people speak of beings from the star Sirius who gave them astronomical knowledge. In Mesoamerica, the Mayans described gods who came from the heavens and promised to return. In India, the Vedic texts mention flying machines called vimanas and epic battles in the sky. Again and again, ancient cultures described visitors who came from the stars, brought knowledge, and then disappeared. According to the Anunnaki theory, when their work was complete, they left Earth and returned to their own world. Some believe they are still out there, watching humanity develop. Others suggest they may have never truly left and that they continue to influence human affairs from behind the scenes. Genetic studies show that humans and chimpanzees share over 98% of their DNA. But there are portions of our genome that remain unexplained, sequences that don't seem to come from known ancestors. Could these be remnants of ancient genetic modification? Could they be a sign of intelligent design? It's important to be clear, there is no scientific consensus that supports these claims. The theory of evolution is backed by a vast body of evidence. Archaeology and genetics offer natural explanations for human development. But the Anunnaki theory raises questions that science hasn't fully answered. Why did civilization begin so suddenly in Mesopotamia, with writing, laws, astronomy, and agriculture appearing seemingly overnight? Why do so many ancient cultures describe similar events, beings from the sky, advanced knowledge, and promises to return? Why does gold play such a central role in myths, rituals, and even in modern technology? Perhaps the Anunnaki are just a myth, ancient people trying to explain the unexplainable. Or perhaps they were real beings, whose impact has been buried beneath thousands of years of history. If they did create us, then everything we think we know about ourselves would have to be re-examined. What if we are not the product of evolution alone, but of intervention? What if our intelligence, our ambition, our drive to build and explore are not purely human traits, but gifts from those who came before? We may never know the full truth. But one thing is certain, the story of the Anunnaki continues to inspire curiosity, debate, and wonder. Whether myth or memory, their legacy lives on in the oldest texts known to man and in the deepest questions we still ask about who we are.